My name's Y-No, aka Y-No Richie, aka the best at whatever I do, whatever that is. Aka you better follow me on Twitter. I'll plug up my link
I'm
and
gonna
all
put
that
it.
stuff later.
I'm gonna put it right there. Follow this man right there.
Yeah. So we got my brothers, the Blunt Brothers, TBB, got their album that just came out, which was November 4th, right?
You know it.
Right. So we're just gonna talk about that. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Skip the mechanic, make the beats. You know what it is.
Cecil Fielder, aka Cess One Cecilini.
Hey, shout out to Y-No Richie, because I wouldn't have got my name and work for him either. So we'll shout Y-No Richie out. But anyhow, Songs of Dejection, right? Or Cess, how did this album come out? Like, how did it start to be an album? What caused it? What made it? What inspired it? All that stuff.
Well, inspiration for the album is just, going through what a lot of people do, and that's a failed relationship. You feel me? So
I feel you.
that's what triggered the album, but it wasn't gonna be an album originally. Like Skip had sent some beats over because we were already working on our next Blunt Brothers album, and shit had went down. You know what I'm saying? And first song I did was It Didn't Have to Be This Way.
Yeah.
So I think that already in a pack that he had sent over.
That one was handcrafted. I called you or you called me or whatever, told me what happened. And like as soon as I got off the phone, I went and made that shit. Like, cause I've been there. I felt that shit. And I fucking just made the beat, sent it over. And then you fucking laid your shit down and had it back like that night or the next day or something. And we were going to drop it as a single. And then it just kept growing from an EP to a full length.
Yeah. Because it was originally supposed to just be a song. Because if you're familiar with our music, then you would know. Then people know, like we don't typically make records like this. It's not something that we normally do. So it was never, in the beginning, it wasn't thought to be an album itself. It was like, I'm going through some shit. Skip fucking custom makes a beat for me to put my fucking emotions on, and came out, And I remember when I sent it to him too, I was like, "Hey, this shit might be whack."
Yeah,
like this shit might be whack because we don't make songs like that. So
and then I told him, he told me that, and I was like, "But we do though, because we."
That's what I'm saying.
That real shit.
Like you guys kind of do. It's like introspective or just something to think about.
It's just some real shit. And that's what was, I was going through at the time. It started off as a situation, turned into a song, turned into a project.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up, man. I think music is like the best when you can like put your thoughts when something happens to you and maybe you got like no one to talk to, whatever, you just got a beat and just talk on the beat and it's just therapy. So that's like the best music because to me, I know not everyone that's probably watching this or gonna watch this, they probably haven't heard the whole album or all the music that I've heard, but to me, this is your guys' best album like to date. So I don't even know how you guys are gonna top, like you guys might as well retire. Just like
nah.
I don't want you to, but I'm just saying it's like, what are they gonna do next?
Yeah.
But all right, so Songs of Dejection, right? Did that title, and there's a title track for it, but did that title come like naturally, or you just like how did you just think, oh, it's gonna be called Songs of Dejection? Like, how did that come about?
Through poetry, like I was writing a bunch of poems at one point because I wanted to like drop like a series of poems that was gonna be like basically on just dejection, like dejection feelings and just that feeling of dejection.
Yeah,
I was writing poems at a time, so that name, not Songs of Dejection, but Dejection, though that word had always been in my mind, like that I wanted to use that for something at some point, and it turned into that. But we went through it a few different names, or at least I did. It was either going to be like it started off like I think we were dubbing it like the Heartbreak project or Heartbreak EP or some shit. We were calling it for a little while before we put a name actually to it.
I don't even remember. I remember you telling me, like, you said you thought, like, I think it's going to be Songs of Dejection or like Dejected Sounds. Or there was like a couple of variations, but all with dejection, the word in there.
Yeah,
And I don't know how, but we like quickly settled on Songs of Dejection and just went from there. My ass had to Google the word. Cess, you know, is the wordsmith. Like,
you know what?
Hey,
you know what? Hey, I was thinking the same thing too, because I had to Google it up, see what it meant too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dope word, and I know a lot about that feeling myself, and I think that's why this album came together the way it did.
Yeah.
And you know what? I learned a lot of words listening to Seth's rap. He was like a walking thesaurus sometimes.
Yeah,
bro.
right.
Like, I have to, like, how do you did you make that word up sometimes? Like, but all right, so that's the title. But the first track, the title track, we'll talk about the beat first, right? You know? So what, like, how did that come about for you, Skip? Like the beat, how did that just come together?
It's hella simple. It's literally 2 samples. That's all that fucking beat is. But the way it came about was, there's a little story. Like, I went back and was looking at the song file and like retraced my steps before we did this. And before, I was fucking around with some totally different other shit. Like, but I was on this key of E major. And so like, when I'm searching through my samples, I have a database where I could filter by chord or key or whatever, tempo. And so I was on that chord, and I came across that sample, and shit was dope. And I just fucking muted and deleted all the other shit that I was working on. And I started over once I found that. I had to speed it up. It was slower, so I sped it up. And then I was trying to build onto it musically, and I came across a drum loop randomly that was in that chord or in that key, which is weird because usually drum samples aren't filtered by key. It's just kicks and snares and hi-hats. Like, there ain't no fucking key unless there's like an 808 maybe. And that shit just fucking fit like a glove. And it was just like, as soon as that shit, like those 2 things came together, it was just on. And then same thing, I had to change the tempo to make it match and shit. But
yeah.
And then I filtered, all I did was speed them both up, put them together, loop them and arrange them the right way, and filter the drums to hit a little harder. And that was it. Super simple. But from what I started with to where I ended, it was like just magic. It was meant to be. I don't know how I got there, but I knew it was intro material. Like, when I found it, it was like, this sounds like an intro. That's why I didn't even make it that long. Like, the length that it is, that's how long it is when I sent it to Sess. And that was it.
That was it. Just handed the baton to Sess. All right, yeah. Sess, the rhymes.
Yeah, so okay, with that one, by that time we were already a few songs in. We already fucking named what we were gonna call it. And like Skip said, you know, it sounded like a fucking intro already. So like, fuck it, okay, it's gonna be an intro. Let's kind of sum up this project's feelings in an intro. You know, Songs of Dejection. So it's like, you put that on, the album starts and you hear it.
Like a summary.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, this is what I'm in for now. Like
reading the back of a book or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
like,
already knew just by hearing that song. I grabbed a box of tissues and shit. I'm prepared. You know what I mean?
But yeah,
ice cream, some weed, whatever you.
Like, yeah, man. I was all like, I needed a pillow, something to cry on. I was ready.
Yeah. So it just goes through that song, that intro. It goes through like the full range. It goes through like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened. This is how I'm feeling. And then like, fuck it, I'm gonna be good, you know. And that's kind of what Songs of Dejection, the intro, that's kind of what it covers, and it sums up the album in a sense that, you know, that's kind of how we approached the album when we were making the songs. We wanted to capture the different emotions of going through something like this, you know. Because, you know, anytime you go through some shit like this, it's not like you just get upset and then that's it or whatever. You know, you go through a range of emotions, you know, so it was trying to capture those range of emotions. So that's what I tried to do with the intro, lyrically, was just be able to sum up the album, you know, in a verse and a half or whatever it was. I don't even think it was 32 bars. I think it was like a 16 and an 8 or some shit. I don't even know. Like, you know, I
24 bars. Yeah.
Yeah, because just the way it broke up and then it had that drop. And I was like, originally I was just going to leave it at that drop. And then I was like, nah, I want to come in for a little bit more and kind of finally sum this shit up completely. So I came in for that last 8 or whatever. But yeah.
No, yeah, the album is really cohesive, especially to that track too. I freaking love the album. You know what I mean? Like I play it all the dang time. That's not even a lie. So it's like the only thing I really played them. I still play all the outside world stuff, whatever. But then yeah. And then but yeah, I love this album though too though. But I think we should get into the next track. We should just keep going, you know what I mean? The next song, which was I think the first song that I heard when I connected back with you, says, because we weren't chilling for like a long time. None of us were really chilling, right? And then you know, circumstances bring people together, and talking about didn't have to be this way. I think that was the first song you played me when I went to your house.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it didn't have to be this way. That came because, like I said, that was the first song, the only song that I was gonna do. But you know, Skip captured that sound, and literally, as soon as I fucking pressed play, I knew, okay, everything started coming at once. It's like that one, I sat down and my pen didn't stop. Like my pen didn't stop because that shit had just happened, literally like just happened. That was, you know, so it's like I talked to Skip, and you know, and then all of a sudden, boom, it felt like instantaneous that I had a fucking beat there. Like I don't know how fast Skip fucking banged that shit out, but when you're going through it, time is fucking crazy. And you know, it just felt like it happened, and then boom, that fucking beat was there. I sat down and my pen didn't stop because all those feelings were so fresh and so like brand new. Like it's like I said, it just happened. So I sat down, I'm just like, I'm writing it out, like, damn, you know, and it just kept coming and coming and coming. And it's all real shit. Like those were my emotions that I was feeling at that very moment in time. So lyrically, that song came out very easy. You know, it was difficult writing it. It was emotional writing it because, like I said, the shit had just happened. So,
but it came naturally though.
Yeah, right? But it naturally, like that song is just like, okay, boom, this is all my emotions. I'm gonna fucking get them all out right here. And lyrically, it was very quick, laying it and then laid it down and sent it right back to Skip. You know, so it felt like just as fast as I got it, he got it back, and it was like, here it is. You know, at that time was unsure what was even going to happen. That song might not even came out when I wrote it, you know, because just didn't know. It was just like, it's really funny. It was like a form of therapy. Everything I write isn't really a form of therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I'm just writing to write, right? Or I'll have a concept idea and I write to write, but this was like specifically approached in that way. Like I got all this shit in me and I need to get it the fuck out. And, you know, and that's just what happened. You know?
That has to be probably or correct me if I'm wrong, like probably the easiest way to write a song when you probably know exactly what you're feeling because you got thoughts in there, as opposed to probably like you're going to make a song and you're going to make a song up, right? As opposed to like, you know, going through, like you already knew what you wanted to write. It was already in your head and you're just getting these feelings out and just put them on paper, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it to where the shit just flows right out like nothing. But I've also had it to where
you got to take a break sometimes.
Well, you're going through so many emotions at that one instant that you can't formulate it. You know what I mean? You can't lay it out the way it needs to be laid out. Like you're having all these thoughts and feelings, but you can't put it together in the song form, because there's so much on your mind. But for whatever reason, it was just perfect timing. I think that the beat came so quick, the thoughts were so fresh. And for whatever fucking reason, I was able to just write that shit out. Like if I was just writing, it felt like I was journaling. Like that's what writing that song felt like, because it felt like I was just in my room, fucking Dear Diary, because
Yeah.
I almost didn't. It's like I don't even remember even thinking like I got to make this rhyme. I got to make this make sense. I got to make this flow. Like the shit just came.
Dear Diary. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, with the beat that you did, it sounds like a '90s kind of. I've heard this sound and like, in my head I know what I'm talking about. But
no,
like,
I feel you. That's my
it's a
era,
'90s freaking sound. Like it could have been on the soundtrack on a Nicolas Cage movie or something in the '90s. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I pulled it up. I refreshed my memory. The way Seth describes writing it is like a lot how the beat went. Like usually I can recall like somewhat of what came first when I construct something, but like this shit, it just all came quick. I mean, I know it started with that like just that weird, moody, ambient sound at the beginning, like when the song opens up before the guitar comes in.
Yeah.
Like it's like just fucking sounds, just emotion. Like I heard it and I was like, oh, that's that shit right there. But the beat came together quick, hella quick. Didn't have to make any real changes to it throughout the process. I went back and
I hate to interrupt you, but you guys make it sound so easy. Sometimes I get so pissed off. People are like, the beat came so quick, and it says it all like, yeah, man, like my hand just started writing on its own. That easy, like
It's the easiest, hardest thing. It just so happened that we both essentially got lucky that everything came together. That song came together the way it did, and it's circumstance. It's just timing, It's just the way things worked out, man. He started digging through the right shit, and everything just came together, Yeah, but not easy, but easy.
And like, I'm breaking the rules on this shit. Like when I almost took the bass line off so many times because that shit ain't even playing like the right keys, which music theory tells you it should be playing. Like I made it go off a little bit on purpose to create a feeling of uneasiness like on the track, but it worked. And like I kept having double like second thoughts about it. Like, no, I can't fucking do it. It sounds crazy, but I can't not do it. When I think like it sounds, that's the way it has to sound. But that was like part of me trying to put that feeling in the track, because that was like at the start, that was when it was the rawest, and like we were just going through it. Started with this one though. It's dope.
Nah, hell yeah, man. Like for real, like just to see like when I see you two, like I honestly think about back to the Outback Steakhouse days. And for whoever's gonna see this video, we didn't
like
really record at the restaurant. We didn't really record at the restaurant. That's just what we call the studio in the backyard, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Should be a documentary, man, about all that.
Man, if only we had fucking video cameras and shit back then.
I know, right? But man, like I hear this album too, and then I think like all the old stuff back in 2008, right? 2008, right? Was it 2005? No, 2005 Outback Steakhouse, right?
We had different spots. But
yeah.
You were there for all of them. You heard more Blunt Brothers shit than anybody.
Yeah, man. I always felt privileged because I was like the only one that could be in a beat making session with you, and you wouldn't even let Seth be all like, I can't even go in there, dog. But fucking Y-No.
Right.
That's real shit, man. I wasn't sessions either, man. Or I'd have
for real, like he wouldn't let you in, but he let me stay there. And then sometimes I remember sometimes Skip would ask me about like, hey, what do you think about this? How's that? You know what I mean? Like little things, So it made me feel like somebody, you know what I mean?
If he let me stay in the room while he was making the beat, he would put headphones on. I wasn't allowed to hear the shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I still be like that. Yeah, when I was younger, I didn't really know why, but like I think now I know it's because I like to experiment like a motherfucker. So I'm gonna do 10 things that sound garbage before I do something that sounds dope. And I don't want nobody hearing the garbage.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better, they say, right?
Yeah, but like I'm always like experimenting with shit, like or just digging. Like I never know what's gonna send me like on like a path. Like on that first song that we talked about, I was in looking at in a certain chord. And then sometimes it'll be like by vibe. That's what I did on It Didn't Have to Be This Way. Like I was searching for like fucking like heartbreak music type shit, but like our type of heartbreak music, I guess, you know. And yeah,
I don't know, like your guys' journey, man. And I hear this album, it's like guys are here now. When I hear this, like the growth is freaking. I even told Seth too, is like, man, like it's crazy because I've seen all the steps from when you guys started down here and then got better to the, you know, to the Popo Might Be Coming. Remember that song? Right? Like, right? You talk about experimenting. I remember when Seth played that song. Seth, you remember like when you played that song for us? We were in the, you know, Outback Steakhouse, and then you were about to play it for us. And my memory's so whack, but I remember you were like hesitant to like, you were all like kind of like hey, before you guys hear this, like I was just kind of, you know, playing around with some things, all right, or something like that.
That's how it be,
like, almost like you didn't want us to hear it or judge it, but then when you did it, I was like dude, this is freaking like it's like what artists do. Like you freaking go outside the box sometimes, and you know, so.
Yeah. That was fucking, you know, that shit happened because we're music lovers, man. Like me and Skip been music lovers forever, as you know, as well as yourself, you know, but it's not like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like all different kinds of shit comes through because we never just listen to just hip hop, you know. Like we love hip hop shit and obviously, but we love all kinds of other shit too. And I think it goes back to like when me and Skip were fucking kids and we'd be jamming out on the guitar and the drums, you know, and we were just riffing. We were just fucking trying shit. Like it didn't fucking, you know, trial and error, man. Like we're just gonna try to make sounds tight. We didn't really box ourselves in. It's like so
when's the country album coming out?
Shit, man, you never fucking know. Get a little more gray in my beard, man. Fucking do some Everlast fucking type of songs and shit. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like life's journey type shit, you know. Like when you're younger, like some of our older songs were more fucking angry and more fucking, you know, just they had different emotions, and you know, as just going through life and experiences and age and, you know, the music changes with you, but so you never know, man. I mean, we put a 80s ass sounding song on our last fucking album, So High Part 2. We put a fucking, you know, so you just never fucking know. Like, we just want to.
I kind of know what it's gonna sound like.
Yeah. And it's like fucking. We just want to make some dope shit that we think is dope without putting ourselves into a box or fucking feeling like we can only do one thing, because we do everything on our fucking own. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have anybody telling us we have to do something a certain way, and we don't want to do something a certain way. Like we just want to make what feels good to us, and that's it. And if people fuck with it, then that's fucking great, because there will be people that fuck with it, you know, and that's just what it is. You know, people that feel like us or want to hear shit that we do, then hell yeah, you know. We just don't want to creatively.
Yeah.
You never want to put those fucking walls up, you know.
Yeah. So it's about like keeping that what is it, integrity in your music, right?
Of course, I'm all about integrity in the music, you know, like I don't want to ever do something that I didn't want to do, you know.
Right,
I'm not gonna
right. it don't sound good sometimes when it's forced too. So yeah.
Yeah, we just do it. We us, man. We just do what we do, and people fuck with it or they don't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like we're making all this, or at least from my point of view, it's not like we're making all this music to satisfy other people. We make this shit because it feels good to us.
Right.
And hopefully other people can vibe with us and rock with us on it.
Mm-hmm.
And touch some other people,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is. And so for this album, Songs of Dejection, it's like, hey man, that shit helped me get through some shit. Like by the time I was done with the album, I didn't feel bad no more. Like throughout the process of making the album, it's like with every song I felt better. I felt like I was leveling up. I felt like I fucking ate the mushroom on Mario Brothers and I just fucking grew. Like it was for real, man.
But you
And
didn't jump on a flagpole, did you?
Nah.
Like
Got
like a picture.
But yeah, man, fucking. So hopefully this album will get people through their shit. Like the way it helped me writing it, creating it, and with Skip and the way it healed me, hopefully it could get other people through their shit.
I think it'll help a lot of people. The best music is always the music with I mean, I like lyrical miracle stuff too, but like the stuff with the content that has like a story, that has something that somebody is going through, and the listener, they can hear that and they could think like, oh shoot, like man, I'm going through the same thing. Nice to see someone going through the same thing and how they're kind of getting through it. So that's like the best music that kind of, I feel like it helps. You know what I mean? So so everyone has their moments where they need somebody. Sometimes it's just like they're by themselves and they just turn on the tune and it's like, dang, it's like how people always say like for instance, like Tupac is like one of the best examples where people like, you don't have to meet Tupac, but people will always say, I see interviews, people like, oh, Pac helped me get through this through his music, man, like more for him, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that vibe, like with this album that I get, you know what I mean? I think we can get into another track though. So we might as well go to track 3. I Don't Know, right? Speaking of Pac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe on the beat on this one, like how you said, like Temptations, or Are You Still Down? Like
Yeah.
You want to talk about that, Skip?
Yeah. I Don't Know was the first beat I made in all the beats that are on the album before it was even an album. Like it was just one that I had sitting that I sent to Sess when we kept working on the project. But and I changed it up. The original had a different bass line and a different horn section. But yeah, that shit was definitely hella like 90s Tupac.
Super 90s.
I could feel I mean, that's my favorite shit.
Yeah.
So
y'all could have, you guys could have had like a unreleased Pac verse and put that on after Sess's verse. It actually would have been fine.
And we actually had
like the unreleased track from Pac,
right? Through part of the process, Sess had that shit from Temptations, the Tupac song.
Yeah.
And it was tight, but then once Young Miss got on there, we took that off. But then at the end, I changed up the bass line and the horns at the very end, and then Sess, I know he was telling me how it took him a minute to get on board with those changes, but it all came together.
It did come together, sure.
It did take me a minute, man. It did take me a minute because I love that original beat was fire. I thought that shit was fire. I know that. And the other beat is the one that ended up making the album is super fire too. And the basics of the beat is still there. The vibe is still there. It's just like Skip said, it's just a little bit different. Are we ever
gonna hear this beat? Because there's 3 versions of this song now, right?
Yeah, there is 3 versions.
Yeah, are we gonna get like the Brothers Lost Tapes album?
Who knows, man? Maybe.
We got a lot of shit that has never seen the light of day. for sure. We have so many, I mean, tons of music that we never put out, you know, and I could definitely see some of that shit, you know, seeing the light of day at some point, you know. But right now, we're still making albums, man. We're still fucking, you know, we're working on our next album. So, you know, it's like, so, you know, it ain't gonna stop.
Yeah. So I don't know. Man, let's talk about Young Miss real quick. You know what I mean? I don't want to feel like I'm disrespecting her because she's been all over these tracks. Like, you know what I mean?
We got to get her on the next one. The next time we'll have to.
I know, but we could at least like, all right, whose idea was it to get Young Miss, and then how did that happen?
That's all Sass. He surprised me with at some point in the process, he sent over I Remember, and Young Miss had laid down her shit on there. And he sent me Picture Me Rolling at the same time after A. Brook had laid down his shit on there. And I didn't know either of them were getting down on them tracks. Seth just sent them over to me, and I was just like, what the fuck? You know, I was like driving down the street banging that shit. But so it was all Seth.
That's the best way. That's the best way to listen to that Picture Me Rolling, driving in your whip to that one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. No, the first shit I did with Young Miss was like back in 2012, I think. I was living in Hollywood at that time when the first time I worked with her. And I met her at Lion Like My Estate. You know what I'm saying? In Pomona. She showed up and she did her thing, you know, and you know, I always knew that I wanted to work with her because her voice was amazing, you know, so
clearly.
Yeah, so I was working on, at that time, we were working on some other stuff, and, you know, I reached out to her, we did a few joints, and when it came time with this project, you know, I'm trying to, you know, with Skip makes the beats, I do the vocals, you know, so it's like, when we're trying to capture a feeling and a sound with these songs, you know, to where they're not just a bunch of ramblings on a beat or whatever. You got to try to figure it out. Like, no, we want like to capture that whole emotion, the whole feeling on the record. So it's like, I felt like my lyrics were capturing the way I feel, you know, and Skip's beats were capturing sound, but like Young Miss brought that other element, you know, to where, you know, I didn't want the album to sound like just me talking shit, you know, because I just got out of a relationship. I wasn't trying to make songs where I'm like, fuck that bitch or some stupid shit like that, you know, like I wanted to make like real music, you know, like fucking old school music sounding, not like old school rap, but just music in general, like fucking old R&B back from the fucking 60s and shit, Motown shit where somebody makes a record and they're not just like talking crap. They're saying their feelings.
Yeah.
You know,
they know what you're talking about when they hear it.
Yeah,
you know
like feelings, they're not talking crap, you know, like and expressing feelings. I know in hip hop and shit, like, you know, no one, I mean, a lot of people do it, but it's not something that's like super looked at as super cool, you know, especially, you know, because it's like a dude making himself vulnerable, expressing his feelings, you know.
Yeah.
That's not like, you know, like a lot of the hip hop that's out there just beating on your chest, you know. It's like, you know, so to capture all these feelings and to capture the emotion of these records, along with Skip's production being the way it is, and my verses being the way they are, like Young Miss's voice, she brings that soul to it and bring that feeling to it, you know, that just really, I felt completely rounded out the songs on the project. I felt like it was something needed. And it's nice to have a feminine touch to the album as far as vocally, like to where it's like I said, I didn't want it to sound like records where I'm just talking crap because I just got out of a jacked up. I just, you know, went through some shit, you know. I didn't want it to sound like that. So with the lyrics being the way they were, the beats being the way they were, bringing in Young Miss, to me, it was a no-brainer. Like, we got to do this, you know. And so that's how that happened. You know, she's an amazing artist, and I knew that she would completely benefit the record and be able to capture what we were trying to do. sonically with that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, she seems real well, not seems. She is like real versatile like the rapping, cuz I did like look up her up, you know what I mean? And I saw like her rapping and stuff. So she could rap too. And on top of that singing, and I think you got one of the songs too. And we'll get into like maybe the next time around where she's singing like an opera singer on here, right? Like, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, will you remember?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so she can go
She's
from
yeah.
here. So
She's like us, where she's got styles of various, you know, like she can't put her in a box. Like she could flow, she could fucking sing. Shit, for all I know,
you could put her in a box, but she'll break out that motherfucking box.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Beats too. She makes beats too.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if she did. I was gonna say
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Okay, what does she not do?
Right.
That's the I feel like, man, like all the songs were like they were already dope, and she just took it like out of the extra layer of like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like I know she's singing, she's a part of the song, but it's almost like she's also a vocal instrument that just adds to it, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, like when towards at the end of the project, she went through and blessed all of them basically, other than what she had already laid down on I Remember.
Yeah, she's all over it.
And when I got them all back, that's when I fucking started making changes to beats and alternate versions and shit, because all of a sudden I didn't like my beats no more. I was like, oh shit, Young Miss came through and killed it. And then like how you said, how like her vocals are like an instrument element of the song almost at times, because she was, you know, there to round out the track. But like once I got them vocals, then I nestled her voice in, like I made room on the beat. Like if I already had like a vocal sample in the center or something, I panned it over to the left or something so that you could hear Young Miss a little better. Like I had to make changes, but that's how I came up with alternate versions, because I was like, I don't like my beat no more. And like that's how I changed the bass line and the horns on I Don't Know, and that's how we ended up with a whole nother version of I Don't Know and a whole nother version of Will You Remember. It's because once I got her vocals back, I was just I had to go and fuck around. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to get Young Miss on here next time for sure though. But next week we're gonna continue this, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, so next week, we'll go over the rest of the album. You guys want to let people know where they can hear this album at?
Anywhere. Just Google our shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least pinpoint like where, you know what I'm saying? Like at least
I'm playing.
Go ahead and plug it, Seth. Go ahead and plug it.
iTunes, Spotify, or Apple Music, whatever the hell it is. Amazon, Bandcamp, it's Tidal, yeah.
YouTube.
Anywhere you see.
And behind Seth, you see we got them vinyls in. We'll be making those available real soon.
Yes.
But a vinyl. For sure. All right. So with that said, I want a Richie here with the Blunt Brothers, Songs of Dejection out now. So make sure you guys go hear that on all streaming platforms. It is on YouTube, but man, go buy the album first before you go on YouTube and listen to something free, because it's worth it. All right. So with that said, we'll see you guys next week.